So you're a conscious manifester. You know by now with law of assumption that manifesting is as simple as just making a decision and sticking to it, and then it manifests. And yet, even though you've made your decision about what you want again and again and again, you still catch yourself not knowing what to do with this waiting period that you have, where you internally have decided it, but the external reality is still not giving it to you. So today we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about what is going on with you if you're slipping into waiting energy, and how to really know that the decision that you've made, that whatever you've decided is true, both internally and externally. How do you deal with this? So we're going to get into all of this today. But first, I will introduce myself to those of you who might not know me. Maybe you're clicking on this video for the first time. You've got no idea what's going on. My name is Genevieve, and I am a manifestation coach. I mainly work with the principles of law of assumption, but I talk about all kinds of things that will be helpful to you in maintaining your new state of being and maintaining your new assumptions. And if that means we're talking about emotions on some days, then we are going to talk about emotions, even though technically you don't need to fix your emotions to manifest. But that's a different video. Although now that I think about it, I might touch on that today a little bit. But anyway, if you want to work with me, there are links below for all of the different ways you can work with me. You can do a course, you can do a one-on-one session. I highly recommend you do the courses, simply because there's only so much you and I can talk about in a 30-minute or 1 hour session. And the courses are very in-depth, and they're made to give you daily lessons in your email inbox so that you get that structured support over time. So I really highly encourage you to do a course. If you want to do something with me, I would do a course. Of course, you can also do a session if you really want to talk about your life, your circumstances, just get some instant feedback from me. A call can be great for that. But yeah, there's other links too to connect with me on Instagram, my other channel, which is an ASMR channel. Just all the things are down there. So check that out if you want to go a little bit more in depth with me. But now let's get into this. So I haven't met a single conscious manifester who hasn't at one point or another gotten very bothered by or stuck on the time thing. And I will just start by reminding you that time is a 3D circumstance. Just like all the other 3D circumstances, time is a construct that only exists in the 3D. Time is not something that your soul understands. Time is something that is a limitation of 3D reality. So it's just a condition of 3D reality. But we manifestors, as we shift into a different state of consciousness, a different way of relating to ourselves and how we are in reality and how we create reality, it can take us some time to start taking the power away from time. Because before we came into this, we saw the world through the lens of linear time. There's a past, there's a future. The present moment we kind of always ignored because we were always probably worried about something that happened in the past that might affect the future, and everything was in this very cause and effect thing along a linear timeline. But now as conscious manifestors, we know that, like I said, time is irrelevant to manifestation. It is just a condition. It is nothing that has power. It's just something that the 3D world uses to keep the 3D world organized. But in terms of your manifestation powers, it is not something that you should be referencing. It's not something that you should even be giving power to at all. So what can you do about time then? Because like I said, a lot of you get stuck in waiting. And what waiting implies is that you still believe that your fulfillment is out there in the 3D reality. The reason we say that your manifestations are instant, and that the minute you make that decision, you've just decided, this is who I am, this is what I have, this is what's going on for me. The minute you decide that, that's the manifestation. That's when it happens. It happens instantly the moment you make a decision. When you don't really trust that, and I know it's very simple, like it's extremely simple. You've made the decision, and only work you've got to do is stick to it, and maybe even deepen in the decision, especially if the new assumption decision is very foreign to you. If it's a totally new assumption / decision that you've never made before, and therefore it feels very, like, as Neville Goddard had put it, like putting on a new suit that feels kind of like stiff and scratchy, and you're not used to it because it's not worn in yet. It doesn't feel natural to you yet. So yeah, there can be a process of simply deepening in your new decision, but still the decision was instant the moment that you made it. The moment that you decided that something was for you or not for you, you made that happen. And the reason you know you made it happen is because in your experience, the only thing you have control over, you felt it as true. You felt it as real. But if you're continuing to attempt manifestation from this kind of relationship to yourself, this relationship to your operant power nature, that's still a disempowered relationship in which you think, nope, just because I made the decision, that doesn't mean it's real. I still need to wait for the real thing, and that's the 3D. The real thing is the 3D. And so I've got to wait, or I've got to do more in the waiting period to make sure that it's working, that it's coming to me. I've got to do something, or I'm just gonna lose it. I'm not gonna be able to handle myself because I don't trust that the decision that I've made, that I am fulfilled, and that the thing that I've specifically claimed is specifically mine. I don't really trust that that's true because I don't instantly see it, and I don't have that relationship with myself to trust that what I say really is my reality. So you need to practice that muscle of trust that the 3D cannot fulfill you. The 3D is the realm of physical shadows. It cannot fulfill you. It simply, as you hear a million times, it simply reflects what is truly alive within you, what is really going on within your state, within your self-concept, within your relationship to all of the different things and people that, and when I say relationship, I mean the dynamic that you're holding alive inside of you. It's not the physical motions that you're doing out in the world. It's what do you genuinely believe about yourself and about other people? And this leads me to just a thing to be aware of. I've noticed this fascinating correlation. And the correlation is that the people that I've worked with who really like getting tarot readings or psychic readings or the pick a card readings or astrology or any sort of divination thing that is an outside of you thing, that you're going to a psychic or a tarot person or some sort of online reader or whatever, and you're constantly going to them to confirm if what you want is really happening. The people who do that a lot have the hardest time manifesting. And the reason that they tend to have the hardest time manifesting is because they don't have, like I said before, that good relationship with themselves as the operant power. You really have to learn that true faith, true trusting stability within yourself is knowing that you don't need anything in the 3D, including tarot on YouTube or whatever it is. You don't need anything to confirm to you that what you have decided, what you know is true about you, is true about you. So the people who tend to go to, again, tarot or psychic or even astrologers a lot, those are the people who they really don't believe in themselves. You don't believe that what you say is true, and so you're constantly looking to something in the 3D, and in this case it's a 3D divination tool to confirm that it's going to happen for you or not. So I'm bringing this up because this is one of the things to not do when you are waiting. Although really you shouldn't be waiting at all, and I'll talk more about that there is no waiting. As we've said, your manifestation really is instant the moment you decide it's true. But in that period of time where, and I think as Neville called it, I think he called it an impregnation period, which kind of sounds weird, but it's once you've decided it, that's the impregnation in you. And the 3D, there's a physical time where the seed is planted and then it grows into the full manifestation that you have already planted within you. So yeah, there is a waiting time, but you in that time cannot be doing anything that gives your power away. And so whenever you go to tarot, or even if you're not going to divination type things, but say you're going to other people in your reality, say you're going to people in your reality that you just want to, talk to them about your manifestation. And I'll put coaching aside because coaching is a different context. I'm talking more about when you're going to your friends and family and you're kind of, asking them, well, what do you think about my person, or what do you think is possible for me, or what should I do next? Like when you do that too much, it's okay to do that a little bit, because of course we want support, and it's okay to feel like you can talk to people about yourself and your life. But when you're over reliant, because I've seen in some of my clients, they're over reliant on the external approval of the people in their life, and they're not realizing all those people are alive inside of you. You can decide in your own relationship to fulfillment that everyone is supportive of whatever you decide for yourself. You don't need to keep playing into a dynamic that already exists, where the people in your life have power over you to decide what should happen for you, or what, is possible for you, or what's not possible for you. We have to, as the operant power of our realities, we have to get out of the habit of all these places where we're leaking away our power to old paradigms that exist in the 3D reality. And as part of your homework, just in watching this video, is I want you to become very aware of this. Like, practice awareness throughout your day of all of the moments that you are tempted to, watch that online tarot reading, or when you are tempted to, ask your best friend if, is it really worth it to get back with your SP, or is it possible for you to go to a certain school you really want to go to, or to get a certain job, or, to heal from a certain thing. Like, notice all of the places. Oh, I'll even say even doctors. So this is fascinating. Anyone in your life who you perceive as an authority. So when it comes to stuff like health, or even school stuff, when it comes to teachers, it's easy to give your power away to doctors and teachers and things like that. When you, again, if you have someone in your reality, you're making them the authority, that whatever they say is what's true, and you instantly just agree that whatever they say must be true, whatever they say is what's possible, whatever they say is what's done, then that's another place to reclaim your power, because whatever they say is only done if you agree in a conscious way that, yes, I do agree with the things this doctor is saying, I'm just going to follow what his advice is. But if you ever hear what a doctor says, or a teacher says, or anyone that you perceive to be in authority, it could even be a lawyer, it could be whoever, I want you to healthfully question where you just sort of take what you hear at face value. It's like, oh, well, they said that and they're a lawyer, so it must be true, or whatever. I want you to remember that manifestations happen in a completely illogical manner. So when you're deferring to the logic of someone in authority, you're limiting yourself. It's like you're saying, yep, I am still in the dynamic where the old 3D still has more power. I am still in the dynamic where I'm giving more power to logic than I am to like the weird spiritual power that I have through manifestation. And it's just important to pay attention to this. So when it comes to this idea of waiting, or what to do in the waiting period, really watch yourself in terms of just throughout the day, watch where you give away your power in kind of small ways or big ways to whatever you're hearing in a tarot reading, or whatever you're hearing maybe your boss say, or doctor say, or all that stuff. Like, just watch yourself, and then decide, like, okay, well, I just heard that. I definitely feel reactive to it, as if what this person said is true, and it bothers me that I think it might be true. But I get to decide. I am the operant power of my life. I get to decide what is my story, and what is true about me, and what's possible for me. I'm the only one who gets to decide. So I'm gonna make that decision right now, regardless of whatever I've heard in the 3D just now. So that's just one thing I want you to be aware of. And it seems like a seemingly small thing, but it's actually a really big thing, because as I said, the more you really get it that you are the operant power of your life, and I'll even define again, if you're new to me, what that really means. When you being the operant power, what that means is that you're acknowledging that all of your fulfillment comes from your experience, and not only that, but you are the only one in your experience who's making any decisions at all. You are the only one thinking, you're the only one experiencing, you're the only one perceiving, you're the only one deciding. There's nothing else except for what you give permission to that is deciding for you, that is making your life for you, unless you, again, if you decide, yep, whatever that person said, I'm just gonna go with that, then yeah, you've kind of given a piece of your operant powerness to that person, or to whatever the heck you just heard. But what we're doing as manifestors is we're reclaiming everything. We're reclaiming all of our power from the 3D. And that's how we're able to masterfully change the 3D, because before we operated as if the 3D reality was the controller of us and we were just victims to like whatever happened here, then it just sucks. We just got to deal with it. Like we're just victims to whatever the heck's going on in this crazy world. We're no longer in that paradigm. And instead we are saying, I am the complete power, the total arbiter of my life, because all my life really is just me experiencing myself. Everything that's happening out here is not powerful because it's simply being filtered through my consciousness, and my consciousness is directed, controlled, and malleable to me. So that's what it means to be the operant power. But I want to put some more emphasis on this idea of fulfillment, in terms of that fulfillment does not come from the 3D. It doesn't come from the physical shadow of the manifestation showing up. It comes from you believing in your desire. Because when you, like I said before, when you make that decision and you say, yep, the new assumption is this is what's happening, you've made that decision. The thing you need to do is trust that, okay, I've made it. I've made the decision, so now I can feel that sense of relief. So when I say fulfillment, often fulfillment feels like relief. It feels like calmness. It feels like doneness. It feels like it's already happened. This is also why we say, to live in the end, to think from the end, because that means you're thinking as if it's already happened, as if it's just fully already done. It's not something you need to even worry about at all, because it's already done. And it's already done because internally you're relating to it as if whatever it is you're manifesting is totally already alive within you in exactly the way that you would like it to be. So if you're manifesting a relationship or a specific person, you already feel alive in you that dynamic of like, yep, everything is good between me and this person. I feel very safe and secure in this relationship. It also feels very normal. So this is another thing, is like the you who already has what you want to have feels very normal in the having of. It doesn't feel like a shocking surprise that you have what you want, because it's only a shocking surprise to the person you used to be who never had anything. And so when they get something that they like, it's like, whoa, I can't believe I got it. But you are like not surprised when things work out for you, because you know that things always work out for you, for example. So it's normal. It should feel normal. The fulfillment that you have, it's just like a relaxed, normal kind of feeling. And here's where I want to touch on your emotions a little bit, because this is what can trip people up a lot, is they feel like, okay, living in the wish fulfilled means that I've got to always feel totally, like I said, that relaxed, normal, confident feeling. But part of being human is that you are going to have different emotions come up throughout your day, throughout your weeks in the coming fruition of the physical part of your manifestation. So when your emotions come up, in regards to this topic today, I simply want you to notice if and when your emotions are coming up because of an emotional dependency upon the manifestation itself. And this mostly comes up when it's people manifesting specific people. And it's coming up because like the reason you feel impatient, the reason you're constantly like looking at the 3D or checking their social media or checking your phone or looking at the 3D to be like, okay, is it happening yet? Part of the reason you're doing that is because you feel unfulfilled without them. You feel incomplete without them. You feel like it's not really real until the physical them starts like doing some stuff that you like. And that's another way that you're leaking your power into the 3D again, where you again are assuming in some very subconscious way that, yeah, the thing hasn't already happened. It didn't happen in me. It didn't happen in that decision that I made. It doesn't really happen until my SP starts texting me, or until, the money starts coming in the physical, or until I start feeling better for my symptoms or whatever. And that is the mistake. Your fulfillment has to be unconditional within you, and it has to be maintained unconditional within you. And what do I mean by unconditional? What I mean by that is that even when emotions or stuff or just random stuff comes up in the 3D on your journey to the physical thing, you are not going to be so bothered by that. You're not going to be reactive to it. And this is also the true meaning of that statement, don't react to the 3D, ignore the 3D. What that means is you're not you're not bothered by the 3D because you're not giving it a meeting that says, oh, now my fulfillment just got taken away just because this weird thing just happened in 3D. You are not doing that. But again, what I want you to be aware of is it's okay to have just regular human emotions, but if your emotions are coming up because you are triggered by the not having it yet, or, you know, like the 3D isn't doing it yet, so I'm having emotions that reflect I don't have it yet, that is where you do need to reclaim yourself. You need to dig deeper in terms of like, well, what old belief just got triggered in me around this? And it could be lots of old assumptions in your self-concept, like, you know, not being enough, not worthy, not chosen, blah, 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 all those typical ones that most of us have when it comes to, you know, old relationship dynamics and manifestations. So I want you to become aware of that, but then I want you to find some healthy way to feel and therefore process, neutralize that emotion behind that old belief that got triggered, because that is what I found, and this is why I talk about somatic stuff so much. It's so complementary to law of assumption work, and that if you can bypass the old story and just feel the raw emotion beneath that old story that is telling you, like the emotion itself feels like it's telling you, you suck, you don't have this yet. If you can just feel that raw emotion where it's not connected to the story anymore, but you're just feeling it in a raw way, that is what is going to help you to let go and process anything within you that still has that attachment to, yeah, fulfillment comes from the 3D. That's where fulfillment is. It's out in 3D. It's not within me. I'm not capable of achieving fulfillment on my own. It only comes from the 3D. Like any of that old story stuff within you, it needs to be looked at. There needs to be awareness around it. There needs to be mindfulness around it. And then you need to process whatever was fueling that. And that's an emotion. An emotion was fueling that. So anyway, this has gotten long now, so I'm going to wrap this up here. But I hope that helps you to have some clarity on one, like what even is like this waiting period, and also how do you really be, like how do you really deal with it during the waiting period. So anyway, let me know what other thoughts or questions have come up within you in just watching this, and any other questions you have for future videos. Those are always nice to see. If I see a question that I feel like is going to be really helpful to a lot of people, then I might make a video about it. So put your thoughts and questions down below, and I will see you in my next video. All right, bye.